Today is a great day for chapter books. So let's start with Hanging with Sloth Stories with Mrs. Carter. Today I would like to give a shout out to my wonderful nieces and nephew, Paris, Sydney, and Dublin. And I would also like to give a shout out to 3 more of my Gubser Gator students. I miss you, Jenna, Christopher, and Brody. I hope you enjoy our story today. My friends, the last couple days the chapters have been so long. Today I'm going to do chapter 7, part 1. So today's chapter is called Bite, Drive, Dive, and Fly. Well, I was thinking that there are 4 human creatures and 5 of us. So the numbers work to our advantage, began Mutt. Stripes, Poo-Poo, and Karen and I each choose a human. Then, on the count of 3, we run across the field and bite the ankles of each human. While they're screaming in pain, Stick Dog grabs all the hamburgers off the grill and brings them back to the pipe for us to eat. Okay, said Stick Dog. That's one plan. Does anybody have a plan that doesn't involve biting people and me burning my paws off on a flaming barbecue grill? You don't like my plan? Mutt asked, a little depressed. Oh, that's not it at all, said Stick Dog. It's a great plan. Let's just see if we can come up with an even greater plan. This made Mutt feel better. I think I have an idea, Poo-Poo volunteered. See that car over there? It must be theirs. It's the only one in the parking lot. What if I snatch the keys from the mom's bag? It's right there on the bench by the picnic table. Then I hop into the car and drive away. I won't steal it or anything. Just drive it for a few blocks. The whole family of humans will chase me. While they're chasing me, you guys get the hamburgers and take them back to Stick Dog's pipe. Just save some for me, okay? Suddenly, Mutt interrupted with a great deal of excitement. Poo-Poo, he said, hopping up and down. Can I ride with you in the passenger seat? And maybe roll down the window? I could stick my head out while you're driving. Is that okay? There's nothing like sticking your head out a window, man. All the different smells, and sometimes you see other dogs on the sidewalk and you can bark your head off, and there's wind in your ears and your fur. It's a blast. I'm in an absolute blast. Please, please, please let me. Please, please, please. How do you know so much about riding in a car? Mutt asked Stripes. I used to go on my human's mail route with him every Saturday. His name was Gary. He let me hang my head out the window. You lived with a mailman? Asked Karen, shocked. I bark at mailmen all the time. Maybe I barked at this Gary human. I doubt it, said Mutt, lowering his voice. That was a very, very long way from here. Will it bother you if I bark at the mailman? I mean, seeing as you used to have a human mailman of your own. Mutt shook his head and smiled. Heck no! In fact, I used to bark at Gary all the time. You did? Poo-Poo asked. You barked at your own human? Yeah, I'm a dog and he was a mailman. What choice did I have? Mutt said, clearly regarding this question as ridiculous. All of the other dogs agreed that this made perfectly good sense. Mutt returned to his original thought. So, Poo-Poo, can I ride in the car during your most excellent plan? Well, said Poo-Poo, I was really planning on you helping with the hamburgers while I drove the car by myself. Come on, man, Mutt begged. It was obvious that he would do just about anything to ride in the car and hang his head out the window. His eyes popped open really wide. I've got it. What if while I'm hanging out the window, I act as a lookout? I can tell you when the family is chasing us down, how close they're getting, if the police are after us, if you're about to run into telephone pole with the car. You know, that kind of thing. That would be helpful, right? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Well, let me think about it. I love riding in a car. It's the thing I miss the most. You have to take me, pleaded Mutt. Sometimes you even get bugs in your teeth, and sometimes some of those bugs are delicious. I don't know which ones because they fly into me at like 30 miles per hour and I can't see them. And because, you know, I swallow them. You just gotta let me come with you, Poo-Poo. You gotta. Well, okay, Poo-Poo finally responded. Yes! That's when Stick Dog spoke up. One question, Poo-Poo, he said. Do you know how to drive? Poo-Poo lowered his head. No, he whispered. Does that mess things up? Do you think it's a bad plan? Oh, not at all, said Stick Dog. It's just such a good plan that I think we should save it for a very desperate time. Like when we're starving even more than today and must have some hamburgers. When that happens, we'll all say, remember Poo-Poo's great plan from a couple of years ago? Let's use that. Oh, I see, said Poo-Poo. Yes, that makes perfectly good sense to me. Good, I'm glad, said Stick Dog. Anybody else? Mutt sat down and moaned to himself. I really, really wanted to hang my head out of that car window, he mumbled. The other dogs felt sorry for him. If we get those hamburgers, Mutt, Stick Dog said, I guarantee they'll taste better than the bugs that smash into your mouth when you ride in a car. This thought lifted Mutt's mood immediately. That's when Karen spoke up. She said, I have a plan. Let's hear it, Stick Dog said. Karen took a deep breath, her long Dotson abdomen inflating from front to back, and began. It may hurt a little bit, but I think it's worth it, she said. Let's go over to the creek and climb up that tall cliff right above that really shallow part. Then we jump off. Karen stopped Poo-Poo, Mutt, Stripes, and Stick Dog couldn't tell if that was the end of the plan or whatever Karen was just taking another deep breath. Or perhaps whether she was contemplating how much it would hurt to fall off a cliff through about 3 inches of water and land on a bunch of jagged rocks. Said Stick Dog, how does that get us any hamburgers? Isn't it obvious? Karen said, slightly put off. Well, yeah, answered Stick Dog, but in a sort of non-obvious way. Maybe you can fill in some of the details for us. Oh, very well, said Karen. After we jump off the cliff onto the rocks, we'll have lots of cuts and bruises, you see. Maybe even some broken bones. Won't that be wonderful? Yes, I suppose so, Stick Dog said slowly. But again, can we get to the getting the hamburgers part of the plan? Karen sighed the biggest, longest sigh a Dotson could sigh. Now, between you and me, that's not very big, because you know Dotsons are not very big. But for Karen, it was as if she had sucked in enough air to fill up a blimp and then let it out again. We go up to the family, Karen explained. She spoke very slowly and seemed sort of embarrassed for her friend's lack of smarts. And they give us the hamburgers because they feel sorry for us. At this, the conclusion of Karen's plan, Mutt, Stick Dog, Poo-Poo, and Stripes all nodded their heads as if they understood all along that throwing themselves violently and tragically off a cliff was a grand and marvelous way to get a few hamburgers. Okay, said Stick Dog, let's call that Plan B. Plan B? Asked Karen incredulously. Plan B? Yes, said Stick Dog. Why? Think about it. Plan B. B, Stick Dog explained, looking Karen right in the eyes. B stands for beautiful, for bountiful, bodacious, bombastic. Brilliant, said Karen quietly. Yes, of course, said Stick Dog. Brilliant, too. At this, Karen puffed out her tiny Dotson chest with pride. Stick Dog turned and looked at Stripes, who was all too happy to offer a plan of her own. I see that, once again, it is up to my keen intellect and superior brain skills to devise a strategy for our success, said Stripes. You will all listen carefully, please. I do not want to repeat this plan. A plan of this magnitude and brilliance is both effervescent and maxitastic. What is it? Mutt sighed. It involves that big gazebo where the humans will eat their hamburgers, began Stripes. She paced back and forth in front of the other dogs. I think we should put on a little show for the humans inside that gazebo. It will be like a theater play. We'll all act something out. Whoop. Oh, I love plays and acting, screamed Poo Poo. Good, I'm glad, continued Stripes. We're going to act out a cops and robbers kind of play. With my background in law enforcement, I can lead real authenticity to the story. Because she's a guard dog. You used to be a police officer? Asked Matt. Stripes swelled with pride. Well, sort of. I was a guard down at the mall. Stripes turned away for a moment and lowered her voice. That all ended with the Nacho Cheese Grande incident. What Nacho Cheese Grande incident? I don't want to talk about it, Stripes whispered, and her whole body shivered. Okay, said Stick Dog. He was anxious to get the hamburger-grabbing idea going again. He was so hungry now that his stomach was beginning to hurt a little. Tell us more about the cops and robbers play that you're proposing. Stripes hesitated for a few more seconds to gather herself and then said, First, Karen is going to run by the gazebo a couple times with a really good-looking stick in her mouth. Second, Mutt and Poo Poo come running up to the human family and turn their heads back and forth like they're looking for something. And they cry a lot. Why do we do that? Asked Mutt. You see, Karen has stolen the stick from you too, explained Stripes, and you're very upset about it. Okay, said Stick Dog slowly. What about you and me and Stripes? Oh, we're on the roof, Stripes concluded. She headed toward the gazebo. Come on, let's go. Follow me. Remember your parts. Tune in tomorrow, friends, to find out what's going to happen in the second part of this chapter. And secondly, I would love it, and I challenge you to come up with your own idea for how this group of dogs can get those tasty, delicious, bodacious hamburgers. So if you've got a plan, you can write it down and send me a picture of it. You can type it to me. And don't forget, remember to comment so I can give you a shout out. Happy reading and happy writing, my friends.